Video game, flash, fiction. This is a timed writing game. I'm going to give myself 90 minutes, and I will be selecting randomly one of these Atari 2600 cartridges, slot it into the console, play the game during this 90 minutes, write a flash fiction story, intellectual property free within this time, and read it at the end. Maybe make a comment about how much I like it. I'm going to roll this dice. Let's go ahead and select the game. We have 4 columns. I have a 4-sided dice. Let's roll it. At column 2, from bottom to top. What row? 2. All right, well, for today's video game flash fiction story, it will be inspired by Realsports Soccer. Atari 2600, use with joystick controllers. Well, thank you for telling me what controller I need. I'll try to get that art there, and hopefully it'll not glare. It's pretty fun, you know. I also want to remind that all these games will someday end up in a book, maybe like this, or maybe these games will end up a book, definitely like this. These are on sale on the Western Wide Web, and well, if you go to videogameflashfiction.com, there's links to videos, stories, stuff like that. Let's slot this game in and see if it works. I am using a digital Atari, for it does stream a little bit better than the analog ones I have. And they also ship a little bit better when I go to conventions. But that is to say, you know, I do miss the analog. Let's see if the digital is working. It seems to be loading the game. And there we have. We have some real sports football. I'm going to go ahead and I need to get this image before me. And let's put in the joystick. Well, and oh joy, 1983. Wow. That's a few years ago. This is freaking crazy. Who am I? I'm this dude right here. What's going on? Oh, wait a second. I see. If I hit the button, is this my goal? I don't. Are they gonna like do? Oh, am I playing a? Oh, is there a computer? Or do I have to have 2 people? Huh. I have to have 2 people. Kind of be a boring game. Let's see here. Let's see if I can select something. Like is this just one? I don't know. This is gonna be an awkward. I gotta write a story. I gotta try to play a game. Like, come on. This is game reset. Game select. I mean, I'm getting kind of bored of this. 3. All right, let's just do this. Well, I enjoy the fact that I can switch players. So it's like a 3-on-3 Realsports Soccer. How is this real? I know it's Atari. I got to forgive it. Oh, it's just a time limit. Man, I only have one joystick out. I'm so disappointed. I think I broke one a little while ago, but I've just been lazy and must not have got it out of storage for a new one. So I can't control this other person. I'm going to go steal the ball from him, though. Why can't I steal the ball from him? Now that's lame. Why can't I? What if I come like, oh wow, and like this player can only go within this sort of lane. I guess you teach you to stay in your lane. Hey, how did you steal that back? How do I pass the ball? How do I steal the ball? And I have to be the middle person. I keep on hitting the button like it'll do a move. I'm gonna try to pass. Okay, that's what passing's like. Oh, I'm not a good dribbler, a passer. And now it's like the yellow ball. And now, can I score? Oh, come on. Dominating. Dominating against yeah. Real sports soccer. I got to write a story. It's like a 3-on-3. Soccer in quotes. I mean, I've already wrote one soccer story, and that was, if I remember right, U Sports was the theme. And was it? Yeah. No, that was real. That was not. That was Pele soccer. That was in this book right here. Yeah. Video game flash fiction, the OG, the original. That was a weird one though that had to do with Cold War, KGB, and the CIA. I don't know. Yeah, it was not. It was 3-on-3 like this, but they were, Pele Soccer was the old Atari 2600 games. Let's pull from my soccer experience. So, I mean, I played youth soccer for a minute. I didn't do beyond running around in the field junior high. I played futsal for about 5 years, maybe. Got pretty good for age. That is 5-on-5, smaller field, much like this. I played indoor soccer a tournament once. Wasn't too bad, but wasn't a habit. And that's the experience I have. I coached it as well. Yeah, what age was that? That was like 8-year-olds. Before it got serious. And then I stopped coaching soccer because I was good at the fundamentals, enthusiasm, team spirit, but I did not have the love of the game to go much further than, it was like 8 or 9U. It was, rec soccer. I feel like I did the same thing. I could do this now. I want to make this about some dudes. 3-on-3 or dudettes. I don't know. Real sports soccer. Let me at least write the file, and then I'll try to think of how I could get. I have to change the joystick so I can at least even the playing field. I gotta probably use the fact that there is no auto computer, so there's a character that just doesn't want to play in this story. This isn't real soccer. I think that's it right there. Let's go for it. Sorry for the coffee slurping, but body makes sounds with other objects, and sometimes I fart too. So let's go real sports soccer. Soccer. That's right. And they got there we go. Let's start with that. This isn't real soccer. Why won't they play? Why would what triggered the I mean, because if you got a soccer ball and you got 6 people, I guess when I was growing up, there were plenty of kids, so you could get a decent sized 6-on-6 team and play. And you're a kid, so you run forever. You still play on a full field. It's not like today where there's a lot of those pop up nets that you could put out on a field, like those 3-on-3 games. This is a shorter, longer field. Realsports soccer. I think what's real? Let me just start with some dialogue. They kicked the ball. And there's different. That's one thing I learned about coaching youth soccer, playing futsal. I mean, it just wasn't something I was too in depth in following. It's not a sport that I watched on a regular basis growing up. I loved playing it, but the different like sizes in the balls. The more you do a thing, the more you learn that thing, and you can better fictionalize it. So that will help me. Like that's I guess my point I'm trying to get across. Let's just use my experience because you can only write what you know, and the better you know it, the better you can lie about it and create that fiction. And if you've done a thing, you probably know it a lot more than someone who hasn't done a thing. What's real? They dropped the soccer ball. Do I want to make this like some existential meaning of playing a sport? What's real? Real sports. I think so. Why not? Why not take it off on that tangent? Because someone's not moving on the field. Because I don't have 2 joysticks, and there doesn't seem to be a computer mode for this thing. I'm going to get this down. They dropped the soccer ball and kick it at Tommy's head. I'm going to call this person Tommy, and we're going to just switch up. Maybe that's going to be it. They're just doing like a circle exercise, and one doesn't want to participate. But that's not necessarily the full mechanics of the game, though. It's sort of like I'm looking at the screen now, and they're like doing reps after the game, basically. Maybe that's how it ends. Let's do some reps. Reps of running back and forth, repetitions, I guess. This isn't real soccer, says Tommy. What's real? They drop the soccer ball and kick it at Tommy's head. Who drops the soccer ball? Sanson. Kicks the ball at Tommy's head. Tommy hits the ball. Let's play this real quick, because I want to see if this will actually like be justifiable as a story. I'll make it easy on myself. I was never good, and still am not good at doing any sort of like man in the middle type defense. Well, I was decent at that, but like being able to kick it around without touching the ground. I never practiced enough, because when I was doing futsal regularly, it was the most time I ever really touched a round ball and kicked it around with the hope of kicking it into a goal. Was something that resembles soccer. So this dude's just not moving. This person. I should probably roll genders for at least the person that's not moving, just to make it interesting. Who's not moving? It won't really matter though, and that's just it. Like the person gender is not going to be the reason why they're not like moving around. It's going to be more philosophical. the philosophical state of what's real. I don't want to make it. I got to make it about a game. Yeah, so they're gonna start a game. I'm gonna kick a goal. I'm gonna try to pass the ball decently. See, it's just I can't even. There we go. Let's see if I can side kick it. Boom! Take that to the house. I wonder if this. Oh, I bet that's okay. So that's an interest. That's the mechanic. So who am I? If I run this way, I can't run this way because I don't have the ball. Come on, character. Boom, boom. There we go. I wonder if they have to stay within a certain range of where I'm at and then just go back and forth. Like how it's programmed. Which, hey, it's a good way to play, I suppose. You pass. Oh, you got to get that corner. I don't know. Does it feel real? I mean, it feels like Atari 2600. For me. At this moment, at least. Probably during the past as well, but I never played this when I was younger. This was definitely not one of the games. I don't think it was even out. I think Pitfall 2 was the last Atari game I ever remember getting. And then Atari just sort of went away. And then once Nintendo hit, which was around junior high, yeah, Atari was done. Never had any of the 5200, 7800 Ataris. Just the 4-switch brown console. Similar to the analog one of the analog ones I have today. I got like 2 sixers, not a heavy sixer, light sixer. And that, there we go. Just pumps it right in. I can't make it about some sort of game. It's got to be about, they're going to start a soccer game. So I'm going to at least stick with that constraint and we'll see where it goes. Maybe nowhere, maybe everywhere. So Tommy hits the ball. Tommy's head. I use the name Tommy a lot. That's okay. It may make for a... I don't know what it may make for. I'm trying to say something witty, but I got lost in my own arrogance and just couldn't think. Arrogant that I could think of something witty. Tommy's head hits the ball. To his feet. They're not going to play. Tommy's not playing real soccer. I mean, not going to. No, man, we need at least 2 more. Kicks it to his feet and traps it with his left foot. It's a big field. It's not real. Maybe a couple more. Sanson. I might really introduce. I got 4 other characters to write names for, and names associate things to other people. Let's Rex. Gretch. Gilda. Something with you. Upton. And I was going to say Sinclair, but let's not go there. I have Tommy. I have Sanson. I have Rex, Gilda, Upton, and Pone something, maybe something. I want to go Gretchen for some reason. Let's just do it. Yeah. How might Rex Gretchen stand around Tommy and Sanson in the center of the soccer circle? In the center of the middle of the field? In the center of the field. Of the soccer field. Yes. It's quite the run. Tommy and Sanson in the center of the soccer field. Upton says, make it real and start the game. I will move. It ain't real. I don't know where this is really going to go. It just maybe, I don't know. Realsports. I got to get the name. I got to get like Realsports. And Realsports has to do with the mind. Like, I mean, there's a title that right now is lacking in connecting with what I'm actually writing. I want to try to at least make some sort of witty, again, arrogantly thinking I can. Let's see if I can. I've done it before. I don't think I did it last week when I was doing video game flash fiction. I think that was actually quite terrible. Another boring video game flash fiction and war. War was the theme. And it was hard to like put that game into utopia where you could like explain why things are like getting shot at and popping when they get hit with the thing shot. So this is Realsports Soccer. Let's go existential. Existential? I hope that's the word I'm looking for. Pedantic. Sometimes I try to be, but rarely does it happen. Just context switching. Isn't it real? Yeah, I'm playing drums with my thumbs because I'm procrastinating. Isn't it real? Ain't it real? It ain't real, says Tommy. He stands. Sanson kicks the ball to Gilda, who says, I guess I'll just do my present perfect tense of things, which I want to write away from in other stories. Make it. I see it meaningful in this. To keep it in the present tense, like it's not being recorded, it's actually happening, and then it just goes away. There is no like trapped in historical narrative because it's not in the past tense. I sort of understand what that means. And that's my own mind that has a lot more context than probably what I built up before saying that out loud. Sanson kicks the ball to Gilda, who says, 'Cause Tommy smiles and folds his arms while Sanson, Gilda, and Rex run past Tommy and toward Tommy's team's goal. Tommy's team's goal. A half a soccer field away. And then we'll have Upton. I have Upton. Upton's going to be on the team. It's going to be a little tense with Tommy. Tommy and Upton may have some words. Because, like, I don't know. I figure if it's your own teammate egging you along, there's got to be some tension between something. Make it real and start the game. Upton chases, runs between. Who has the ball? I don't want to run between because they're going to stay in their lanes, right? Because, I mean, you want to stay in your lane a little bit. You don't want to be like, and that's the hardest thing I found coaching youth soccer, is that teaching the players not to clump up. But everyone at that age wants the excitement, and they all find some joy in all circling around and kicking at the ball and till it pops out, and they all run to the circle and kick the ball. It takes till about, well, once I stopped coaching, for the kids to finally understand that you have to play position. And it's a lot easier if you're spread out on the field and pass it around. You run a lot less, score, and everyone can be the hero. And, you know, just do your job. So I'm thinking of that. That's the context. Only 2 years of doing it. About 3 times as, about a third as amount of the years I coached Little League. I got a lot more experience and a lot more non-fiction experience of youth sports of baseball than soccer. So I'll use sort of this age range that's probably a little bit older. I imagine these, much like myself, when I started playing futsal, some sort of sense of community and, well, sports are fun. This isn't real soccer. Make it a real game. It ain't real, Tommy says. Upton runs between. Okay, so I went off at a big tangent. I don't know why, because I wanted to at least give context where my head was at, because I don't know how this will end. I got an hour left, and how is it going to end? Like, right now, this to me seems like a story. They're going to be kicking the ball around. Tommy's not going to move, and they're going to stay where they're at. They're going to go down and score, and then they're going to put the ball right by Tommy's feet to start it, and they won't kick it. And Upton's going to get maybe pissed off. I don't know yet. I think so, and that might be the end of it. That would definitely be an interesting story, and one I'd probably never publish, unless it was called like video game flash fiction meta, which is a possibility. Might as well try to push word somehow. But let's go with Upton runs between it. Who are they running between? Who has the ball? The ball. We're gonna have Gilda. Let's go play the game. Let's do that. Now I got character names. All right. So we have Samson and Tommy. We're gonna have Tommy be yellow and Samson. Samson. It's not Sanson. Sanson. Excuse me. Nose ditched. Eyes are dry and itchy as well, but has nothing to do with this unless they have one that has allergies. Maybe that's true. I'm gonna have to tell me I have allergies. I've got allergies. This ain't real. Your allergies are real. Sanson. I think Sanson's you gotta you're gonna pass the ball. Pass the ball. What the that's alright, so they pass the ball to Gilda. Gilda dribbles it down and Gilda side shoots it, passes it to dude. They're gonna do some tricky stuff. Passes back to Sanson and the Sanson's gonna score. And Tommy's gonna stay standing in the middle of the circle. So Tommy smiles. We should probably make that a singular verb. Tommy smiles and folds his arms while Sanson, Gilda, and Rex pass Tommy and toward Tommy's team's goal. Upton runs between Gilda and Sanson. Upton runs between Gilda and Sanson. I think that's what I want. Upton runs between Gilda and Sanson. Looking back at Tommy, who stands in the center of the field. This is real. All right, so that's what they're going to say. Sanson, while Gilda sidekicks, passes the ball to Sanson. Sanson kicks the ball into the goal. Okay. Upton says, Upton slows run and walks with hands on hips toward Tommy's back. Sanson, we'll have Rex back while Rex runs for the ball in the... Oh, no, it wouldn't be Rex. Sanson. While Sanson's playing the center of the field. So given that, Sanson passed to Sanson, while Sanson lifts and tugs the goal net, pulling the ball, rolling the ball to his feet. Upton says, This is real. That's a real point. That's a real goal. And you can call Tommy out. No, it's not. What's the trigger? What's driving Tommy to be so real? And am I really gonna write? Yeah, like that's I don't have that. So I'm uncertain of where to go. That's a real goal, Tommy. No, it is not a real soccer. It's not a real soccer. No, let's just say it's not a real. No. It's not a real soccer goal. And dribbles by Tommy and kicks the ball at Tommy's feet, and the ball, soccer ball, we'll just go the ball rolls to Tommy's, stops by Tommy's feet. Yes. That is not bad. I like that. So far, I don't hate this story. I got 52 minutes left. But I don't really have much of a I guess with the conflict, the tension, of course, is with Tommy's being a whiny bitch. just play the game or get off the field, you know. I think Upton's going to say that. Play the game or get off the field. Maybe it could be one of those stories that like involves and you get more and more context as it goes. Like maybe Upton and Tommy. Ooh, something. There's or I remember when young. It was once upon a time. I mean, I got caught up into existentialism. I had those like 20-year-old conversations. And they help shape things, for sure. Those conversations about the meaning of life and what's art. Did I ever get pissed off in any of those arguments because I was like, no, because it's just talk. But I know people that did. So Upton says that's the real goal, Tommy. There's got to be some underlying conflict. Like I want to unravel that. Just got what's coming to mind right now between Tommy and Upton, who are on the same team. Maybe like I've infidelity came into mind. Some sort of relationship conflict. Maybe between themselves. Maybe not was infidelity. It was just an earlier conversation about the meaning of life. Maybe Upton and Tommy are in a relationship, and was told by Upton, oh, that's what it could be. That's what it could be. Yes. Because that's the only way that, like, other than that, it's just a weird. I got to give why. What's the context? Why? Okay. Given that, they're in a relationship. This could be like a couples thing. Because thinking back when I was playing at least the co-ed version of futsal, I had played with teams that had couples on it. Fortunately, for me and the team, there's never a problem, at least on my team. I know there are other teams where there were couples, but I never saw any problems there either. So I don't have like a real life example of that conflict happening on during a futsal game or a soccer like game, a real sports soccer. But I could either go that way or, I mean, I got 48 minutes. I might as well try to make this something I can put in a book like this one. Maybe someday there'll be video game flash fiction sports 2, which does have 25 stories, you know. So I've written about sports too. In fact, I should have mentioned that, like the snake, the wabbit, summer games, ice hockey, tennis, commando, desert falcon, pango, lock and chase. Real super challenge baseball. I did super challenge football. And so there is super challenge football, but that's more like, throwing the ball, the American style, labeled football. This doesn't even have Pele soccer. That is this one right here. What are they conflicted about? Are they literally in some sort of philosophical debate? Or one was like, it wasn't real. Maybe that's it. Let's just go that route. Let's put a little bit of a twist. Let's at least add reason. All right, so let's play the game. Tommy's in the middle. We got time. Tommy's the captain, the leader, and Sanson's missed the ball totally. That's not how the story's going to play out. If story plays out, Sanson doom, and then passes the ball. Nope. Yep. Oh, come on now. I got to go control the character. There we go. And then I can run, and then passes the ball to Sanson, and then Sanson laboriously kicks the ball. Okay, now the game resets. Now the ball is before Tommy, and this is where we're at. Upton, who is guarding. Let's make sure that we have Upton guarding Sanson. Upton slow walks. Yeah, let's at least have some sort of maybe I do. I don't know. So Upton says, "Make it real and start the game. It ain't real." Tommy says, stands. Sanson kicks the ball to Gilda, who says, "You're losing is real. You losing is real." Tommy smiles and folds arm while Sanson, Gilda, and Rex run past Tommy and toward Tommy's team's goal. Upton runs between Gilda and Sanson, looking back at Tommy, who stands in the center of the fields. "This is real," while Gilda passes the ball. Okay. Shoulders Gilda. Okay, so we do have Upton. Upton runs back. Upton says, "That's a real goal, Tommy. It's not a real soccer. It's not a real soccer goal." All right. And then Sanson dribbles by Tommy and kicks the ball at Tommy's feet. The ball stops by Tommy's feet. Your kickoff. Your kick. Tommy. Who? Maybe it's Sanson. Maybe it is Sanson. Let's say it's Sanson. Of Sanson and Tommy. Yeah, because it's someone on the team. You know, why would they show up for that day? Why would you? I guess, right? Like, if it was inter team, the conflict would exist prior to the game, probably too heavily. And so the two people would probably just not go to the game. But maybe they would because they're really devoted. But if it was a 3-on-3, you know, the dynamic's off. You can always cancel. I would cancel. It'd be different if, you know, your argument was some captain of another team. You knew they were playing. And maybe you were really pissed because it all stewed. So you just want to make a fucking scene. And that's what's happening. They're just making a scene. To me, that seems like a better story if it's Sanson, who plays midfield, center, midfielder. I might learn my soccer, my football, my European, my something football, my air quote soccer. I don't know. There goes Sanson again. Boom. Yeah, I think it's Sanson and Tommy. Will it make it real to you? Okay, now I can see this story. Tommy's head cocks forward. Is it real to you? And I won't have to, I'm going to just, I guess they pronoun Sanson. Tommy's head cocks forward. Oh man, what was I gonna make? Cox says, is it real? Looks at Sanson and Tommy. Dude. He spreads Upton, yeah, he spreads arms. He points palms, points fingertips, points. Like, what would be that? Like, I want to get that motion. I want to get, like, when you do this, like, place it. He lowers open palms. That's okay, maybe. Open palms at his feet. As who's guarding Upton was while Gilda walks near Tommy. Play the game or get off the field. No, I'm not going to say that yet. And there's Upton going to say that because that was when I was probably going to. Yeah, no, I think that's got to be said by somebody. Some of the agency with some dialogue other than just like having them be a name. Maybe they're silent. What the hell are they gonna do? Because the other persons get kind of pissed off too. This is Upton. Upton, what are the teams again? I mean, I wrote it down. So that's a bonus for me. I can go ahead and read it. Upton runs between Gilda and Sanson. So it goes Gilda, Sanson, and Rex. That's right. So everyone who is not Gilda, Sanson, or Rex is on the other team. Upton, Gretchen. So Gretchen. Let's have Gretchen. Give Gretchen a little agency. And Rex, I suppose. Gretchen. Runs toward. Now, can I do that if I had a joystick? I could. I wonder if I have to kick the ball. I guess I have to kick the ball with the player in the middle all the time. I'm just thinking the game mechanics. Let's play the game. I want to see something. This may or may not entertain. Not entertain me. Okay, so then the ball's in the center. And I can switch, but the only person that gets the ball is the center because that's the entire lane that they're in. So, well, yeah. Score. I'm going to win. And let's take that victory and go with it. Let's write some more. Let's keep writing because I think I got the story. And it won't be total trash, likely. Maybe. Maybe not. The more I talk, the less likely it will be, the more likely it will be trash. Maybe. Unless I'm diving into context so I can give an understanding to myself right now, but also, well, that machine that reads this transcript as well as these words in their revisions. Gretchen runs at Tommy. The ball. Upton says, play the game or get off the field. Tommy stands with foot pressing the top of the ball. Sanson. So it's Sanson and Tommy. Sanson runs at Tommy. This is real. That is not. We are real. Oh yeah, I love it. They are not. There's a little bit of a jealousy, maybe. Some conflict. Likely due with some sort of pair bonding relationship occurrence during some time frame that had emotions attached to it, not just the need to spread one's wild DNA, their genes, and procreate. Sanson runs at Tommy. Are we real? Are they real? They are not. Tommy. Gretchen slide kicks. Gretchen. Have it be Gretchen. Have like some love triangle on the field. And like I've seen that happen too. So I definitely noticed that, especially on really only in the league I played at least during co-ed, where relationship happened and grew off from the field, which I mean, it's an appropriate place. Definitely do get a sense of a person playing a sport with them. That is for certain. But I mean, like anything else, it's just one little aspect of a person's existence, especially at the level played once a week and no practices. Tommy stands with foot pressing on the top of the ball. Sanson runs at Tommy. We are real. They are not. Gretchen slides over the turf. Kicking up small plastic pebbles. Pebbles. Gretchen slides over the turf, kicking up small pebbles, smacking the flat-footing the bottom-footing the ball. The ball from under Tommy's foot and at Upton. Sanson, while Sanson was swings his, while Sanson swings, kicks, while Samson kicks at the space where the ball once stood under Tommy's foot, kicking Gretchen's ankle. And not Angel. Yeah. Let's say more. Let's write and save. All right. 32 minutes left. Who's guarding Upton is guarded by Gilda. Let's have kicking Gretchen's angle. I don't know where I really was like angle when I want ankle. I even made a witty comment about writing out angel like I was smart when I was only being foolish because I was rewriting. Yeah, anyway, let's move on. Lost in trying to understand the changes in context. Where is it at now? What's the story? At least there is a story now, and there's a build up to it, so it's not terrible. I would still consider this to be bad when I start editing it, if I do. But that's only because it's probably true. Kicking Gretchen's ankle. Gilda long steps. Let's have a hyphen. And reaches Gilda long step and reaches for the rolling ball and reaches leg and foot, blocks the pass and stages, sets, preps, moves, and knocks the ball before her other foot pivots and dribbles. Dribble. With a probably want to put B's, even if I want to spell that word. Dribbles the ball. Dribble. I'm going to dribble some. I don't know. Just not liking that word right now. Along the pitch to the goal with Upton chasing and looking back at who's Sanson and Tommy, while Gretchen rolls, shouts, "You did that on purpose. You place, get real off the field." I guess this would be the real sports. Get real off the field. Can you get real off the field? Keep it there. If I had more than a flash fiction story, of course, I'd probably write all these interpersonal stories and how they relate to each other, and maybe once removed tangents of how they ended up on the team. Maybe Upton's got some sexual attention because he's got feelings for Gretchen or Upton or Sanson. All those things could be explored given life and time, but right now I'm just trying to complete this. I got 27 minutes left and I want to write to this, but how do I end it? Let's play the game and find out. Maybe I can talk my way through it again a little bit. I'm still going to be the blue character. Maybe I should be the other. Let's be the other team. Let's be, because this is sort of Sanson. But Tommy's not ever moving. Sanson's the one that, yeah. And Gretchen, I don't know. Gretchen wants to win. Maybe Gretchen and Tommy had a thing. Who knows? I don't know if that needs to be explored, really. It's a question of life. Does Gretchen and Sanson's relationship or Tommy's relationship really need to be explored? Well, I suppose it does, because there's a story about it. And I just almost scored a goal. Upton says, "Can you get real off the field and keep it there?" Someone's going to score. Not Sanson, but Gilda kicks the ball in the goal. And who is there? Was Gretchen the sliding? There's Upton. Upton raises arms and and marches and glares at Tommy and Sanson. I think I should do that then. And let's copy this, or at least move Gilda, kicks the ball. I don't know. Like, this is too meta. I guess my entire life is too meta. So everything I write about, I just want to get, and I'm getting, I don't know. I'm 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 reasonably not feeling a story. I see a situation, see conflict for sure, but what's that resolution? I have to resolve this. I don't have to resolve this conflict. I could wait 24 minutes and just save this file and move on and put the transcript inside the same repository and then write my journal away to the next thing that I do and dialogue and narrate and journal about that. I might come back to this in 2 years when I get back to flash fiction stories. After the publishing of the next flash fiction book, of course, called IP Free. I need a break from publishing video game flash fiction books. Anyway, that's not this story. This story may never end up in a book, and it may just remain to be some digital archive that's intertwined with many other video game flash fiction stories and hundreds of other stories. Intertwined only because their revision history is connected, but not necessarily the worlds in which they try to create within your mind, like this one right here. Gilda kicks the ball in the goal. Upton raises arms and glares at Tommy and Sanson. Upton says, "Can you keep it real off the field and keep it there, off the field?" While Gilda walks near Tommy. Gilda's not good. Gilda's gonna stand by the goal. Gilda grabs the ball and stands by the goal. Sweep kicks the ball from the goal into her arms. She stands. She does stand, I suppose. Everyone's standing. What's she going to do? Sit? No. She kicks the ball with her foot over and over, saying, "We going to play?" I don't know how to end this. I guess it'd be game over, right? They'd forfeit. Yeah. I gotta have some calamity though. Gilda kicks the ball in the goal. Upton raises arms and glares at Tommy and Sanson. Upton says, "Can you get real off the field?" Sanson, which one? I don't even know who's mad at who. Tommy. I don't think Tommy could be the pissed off. He wants to make a point with Sanson, and Sanson there. I don't know. I'm getting like my mind right now is playing a scene of either Tommy getting eaten the balls, someone hitting someone in the face. But there's no reason for Sanson really to knee Tammy in the balls, nor Gretchen, because it's really Sanson the one that's been caused this conflict, I think, and it's Tommy that's objecting to it. I've determined it is sort of like a tension probably sexual, because that's the like one of the most uncertain tensions that exists, at least for me. And I think for a lot of humans that have that like sexual desire. So in this situation, there's going to be aggression. I won't want to get physical, but I need it to be final. And that's easy because the physical will make it easy. Because, I'll like slam Tommy in the balls and Tommy falls to the ground and Gil says, I quit. And then Gilda can say, well, we won, and kicks the ball. Up her arms and looks at Gilda. And says, guess we won. That's how it'll land. I got 18 minutes. So Upton raises his arms and glares at Tommy and Sanson. Upton says, can you get real off the field and keep it there? Off the field? What's the I guess you just say it out loud. It'd be called out. It wouldn't be the physical one. And it would be Tommy says. And with wait. Who man. So Tommy's the one that has to be upset, and I had Sanson being the one that wants it to be real. And then Gilda Gretchen. Sanson. We'll have the name be Sanson. And Tommy, while Gretchen shouts, you did that on purpose. Sanson looks at Tommy, glares at Tommy. No, I didn't. Who would want to say that? Sanson would want to say that. Tommy's playing. Why would Tommy? Okay, Sanson and. Oh man. Because the pair bonding argument, if it was within the team, would never have made it onto the field because they probably would have been pissed off at each other. But it's hard for Tommy to lie, to not go. And they're pissed and they want to confront, so it's Tommy going to say it. And it wouldn't be Gretchen's not going to say that you did that on purpose. But it'd be Tommy and Gretchen. So Sanson. The only thing I did on purpose. Have sex with Tommy. Gretchen rolls over and grabs her ankle and looks at Tommy. What's gonna happen? I gotta at least resolve what happens with Gretchen. Something's gotta happen with Gretchen. I just know what that will be. Sanson walks off the field and Tommy stands stoic. I can't spell stoic. What's the search and return engine? Do I want to use that word? Stoic. Stow. I don't like stoic. I wouldn't be able to be like stoic. Stands. Sanson walks off the field. Tommy follows. Leaving Gretchen crying on the field. We have some deeper metaphor about having the love of any sort of team. They're always going to disappoint you and leave you crying on the field. This is really about that. It's just meta. It'll be Tommy is the team you love. You're Gretchen, and Tommy's always going to love Sanson more and follow Sanson, who is the next fan. But they got to win. And they're always going to break your heart. The only time you feel like they win is like they satisfy you a little bit. That's the real story here. It's about getting real. I don't know. I'm done. That is enough. I hope this story may not make sense because I could have, like, I got Sanson and Tommy. I'm going to leave this. I guess I'll leave this going. I don't think it's going to buzz. I'm going to let Tommy play. Just one time. All right, Tommy. Let's get this going, and then I'm going to read this aloud. And let's see how the story was written. Or what wrote it. All right, Tommy. That's how Tommy used to be able to play. Let's play some ball. Used to. But now they're standing in the field. Let's go ahead and close this game before me, and let's go ahead and read this story. Hopefully I can do it at least decent one shot. My intention is not to be putting this in any sort of like book on tape. Book on tape. Let's date myself with age. Audiobook. Though I will be trying to record video game flash fiction audiobook coming this month. Next month, rather. For today's video game flash fiction story, inspired by the game Realsports Soccer. Realsports Soccer. This isn't real soccer, says Tommy. What's real? Sanson drops the soccer ball, kicks the ball at Tommy's head. Tommy's head hits the ball to his feet, and his feet trap with the left foot. It's a big field. I screwed up that sentence. I got to read that sentence. Tommy's head hits the ball to his feet and traps it with his foot. Traps it with his foot. That is. Let's go ahead and reread that. We'll start from the top again. I'll try to read over the mistakes, and if I mess up a little bit, I'll probably just read on. I don't want to get too caught up. At least until I start actually recording the ones that I've thoroughly edited, and this has just been written. Realsports Soccer. Realsports Soccer. This isn't real sports, says Tommy. What's real? Sanson drops the soccer ball and kicks the ball at Tommy's head. Tommy's head hits the ball to his feet and traps it with left foot. It's a big field. There's 3. It's not real. Maybe a couple more. More real? Rex, Gilda, Upton, and Gretchen stand around Tommy and Sanson in the center of the soccer field. Upton says, make it real and start the game. It ain't real, says Tommy. He stands. Sanson kicks the ball at Gilda, who says, you losing is real. Tommy smiles and folds his arms while Sanson, Gilda, and Rex run past Tommy and toward Tommy's team goal. Upton runs between Gilda and Sanson, looking back at Tommy, who stands in the center of the field. This is real, while Gilda passes the ball and to Sanson. Sanson kicks it into the goal. Upton slows, runs, and walks with hands on hips toward Tommy's back, while Sanson lifts and tugs the goal net, rolling the ball to their feet. Upton says, that's a real goal, Tommy. It's not a real soccer goal. Sanson dribbles by Tommy and kicks the ball at Tommy's feet, and the ball stops by Tommy's feet. You kick. Tommy's head cocks forward. Is it real? Upton looks at Sanson and Tommy. He spreads arms. Tommy! He lowers open palms at his feet as he says, the ball. Gretchen runs at Tommy. The ball. Tommy stands with foot pressing at the top of the ball. Sanson runs at Tommy. We are real. They are not. Gretchen slides over the turf, kicking up small pebbles, bottom footing the ball under Tommy's foot and at Upton, while Sanson kicks at the space where the ball once stood under Tommy's foot, kicking Gretchen's ankle. Gilda long steps and reaches leg and foot, blocks the pass and knocks the ball before her other foot, pivots and dribbles the ball along the pitch to the goal, with Upton chasing and looking at Sanson and Tommy, while Gretchen shouts, you did that on purpose. Sanson glares at Tommy. The only thing I did on purpose was have real sex with Tommy. Gilda kicks the ball into the goal. Upton raises his arms and glares at Tommy and Sanson and says, can you get real off the field and keep it there? Off the field? Gretchen grabs her ankle and looks at Tommy. Is what she's saying real? Tommy says, nothing's real. Sanson walks off the field and Tommy follows, leaving Gretchen crying on the field. Gilda sweep kicks from the goal the ball and kicks it to the arms and cradles it and says, I guess we won? And I add those words I spoke at the end. And kicks the ball from the goal. And kicks and flips it and foot flips it to her chest and cradles the ball. So we just have the whole movement. Says, I guess we won. I have a story. Well, I have Real Sports Soccer, Real Sports Boxing, Real Sports Football, Real Sports Volleyball. Real Sports Volleyball is in, well, video game, flash fiction, work. Yeah, fun back cover too. Well, let's save this. Write a story inspired by my life and this video game. Publish to save the state. Well, we have minutes left. So time to say, let's game on, do something else, find a way to go out and play sports somehow. Play some sort of game with somebody else. You'll learn as much about other people as you will yourself, and maybe find a friend. Not all group sports and like real sports soccer, but any good story has some good drama. But let's not go try to create that drama. Let's just write the story about it.